This is a course summary for M05, which is the insurance law module.
So, this is my favourite module. We have 10 chapters altogether. Now, the first chapter talks you through the law and legal systems, and that is available for free on our on-demand course. So you've got access to that. You can kind of ease your way in, see if this is something that you want to do. You might just be embarking on your diploma career course, and you might want to just look at this in a bit more detail before jumping in. So, the law and legal system side of things, we're looking at the history of the law, how it came about, this concept of judicial precedent, how cases are decided, and introducing you to some of the terminology that you'll need to be aware of. Then the book splits down into looking at the two kind of key areas. So the law of torts. A tort is essentially a wrongdoing, so we look at concept of negligence and various other kind of torts like trespass, nuisance, and so on. And then we look at contracts, which by your day-to-day role, you'll probably just be more familiar with in any event anyway. As we start to go kind of into the middle of the book, we look at some areas that we've dealt with probably at certificate level, but just in a lot more detail. So things like insurable interest, so what the actual legal ramifications of that. Also things like proximate cause, looking at the concept of indemnity, and then we go into a little bit more detail as well about kind of material circumstances and this concept of good faith as well. Towards the end of the book, we look at essentially kind of some of the key contractual terms for insurance contracts, and then also what to do in terms of making the claim and the claim settlements process that we go through as claims adjusters in terms of making sure that it's on the right side of the legal procedures and principles that we need to follow. The final chapter hits an area that you should have picked up on in certificate level, so either in LM1 or in IF1, but ultimately goes into a lot more detail about subrogation and contribution and the legal principles surrounding those.
So this is a compulsory unit, and therefore everybody is going to do this module unless you are exempt from it, usually because you have a law degree. The question around this module that people often ask is when to take it. Now, we strongly recommend jumping straight into this one as soon as you start your dip, because it really does help you with all of the other modules you do as that goes on. There's a real foundation understanding of how insurance works, and that really does help you with the future modules. It does have a tough reputation. I personally think the bark is bigger than the bite. The reputation is much worse than the reality of this exam. The book itself has been streamlined a fair bit over the recent years. So those people who talk about it, who've sat it maybe several years back, may have done quite a different module to what it looks like now. And I really like to think of it as a book of stories. All of these case laws, they're really stories of things that actually happened, and stories are much easier for us to remember often than lists, which you'll find lots of in other modules. So we encourage you to sit this one as early as you can.
So this is a hybrid exam in the sense that it has coursework and a multiple choice element to it. So the multiple choice element has 50 standard multiple choice questions, and you have an hour with which to do those. The pass rate for that is 70%, but you also have to pass the coursework. You need to get 120 out of 200 for the coursework, and there are 10 short answer questions that range from 10 marks to 30 marks, where you have to kind of break them down and talk through your legal reasoning as to why you're recommending certain things, but also read the questions. We've got a lot of resources on this area as well for you.
There's actually a free video on our YouTube channel which gives you information about how to go about writing coursework at diploma level 2. This module is worth 25 credits at diploma level, and the average rate for completing diploma modules in full is 91.2%.